I want to thank you for taking time to be here to watch and listen to this. If you are in the USA, I want to wish you and yours a happy Thanksgiving and for sparing time to watch and listen to this today. I really appreciate it. If you're outside the USA, I do want to wish you a great day. And likewise, I do want to thank you for taking time to watch and listen to this. What I'm doing today, I'm going to go through my She Agents character sheets. I have tried to show these before. Unfortunately, there were some technical difficulties along the way, so not all of them have been seen by everyone. Hopefully, this time around, you will be able to see them. And I'm just going to start by showing the art and give some brief bios on the characters. And before I talk and stumble too much here, let's get going. This is my character, Princess Vanna Strong. Now, the original pencil artwork was by Rock Baker, comic book artist Rock Baker, who's done work for a few publishers, but namely had worked in the past for AC Comics on their FemForce title. And he does have his own book called Cartoon Cuties of Rock Baker, which is featured from the publisher Indelible Comics. But again, I was able to have him do the sketch for me, which I inked. And here's Princess Vanna Strong making short order of a missile, which is shooting lasers at her, and she's knocking it out of commission. And a brief rundown on Princess Vanna Strong. She's a super powered royal protectorate of her home planet of Raylac, and her job and duty is, of course, to protect her home planet. There are only a few beings on her home planet that are like her, but through a series of events, she ends up on planet Earth, and her arrival on Earth serves as a catalyst for the formation of the She Agents team. And real briefly on Princess Vanna Strong's powers and abilities. She is a telepath, and if you can see, she has some antennae here, and she's able to read virtually any sentient being's mind, which also enables her the instant ability to communicate in any language telepathically. She does speak verbally, but telepathy is her chosen method of communication because of that ability that she has. And she also has parallel eyes. If you think of like a reptile, excuse me, how they have the. Although I didn't have rock draw that here, but kind of like triangular shaped eyes. But her vision enables her to look through virtually not look through, but she can see through energy spectrums. She can see long distances, and yes, and she can see in space, and actually she can survive in space, by the way. And she also has pointed ears. I know it's a common trope for alien creatures, but that's just one of the physical attributes that she has. And she does have three fingers and three toes, three fingers and a thumb, on each hand. Excuse me. And she can fly at supersonic speed. She is nearly invulnerable, not 100% invulnerable, but she, has a high degree of invulnerability. And again, she can survive in space. She can survive underwater, living with oxygen or other gas in order to shape. And it's due to her unique physiology and her DNA that she's able to survive and has all these superpowers. And again, this art, the original pencil art, was by Rock Baker, and with my inks. And here are a couple more concept sketches I did of Princess Vanna Strong. And just a slight change on her costume. Um, I went with a little bit more basic. That's just a concept sketch I did some time back for Princess Vanna Strong. Nothing too fancy. And again, yet one more concept sketch of Princess Vanna Strong, or if you want to call her Princess Strong or Princess Vanna or just Vanna. They'll address the other characters will address her by different names in the comic. But again, these are just some concept sketches. So we're going to go move on next to the leader of the team, and her name is Commandant Comet. Now, this wonderful black and white line artwork was by comic book artist Stephen Butler. Stephen Butler had worked on Spider-Man. He also worked on Silver Sable, The Crusaders, Sonic the Hedgehog, and other titles. And currently he's working on Archie Comics, working with some of Archie Comics superhero characters and the regular cast of Archie as well. So I was really fortunate to have been able to commission him a few years ago to draw Commandant Comet for me. And he drew her based on the pose that I had asked him to do. And he did an outstanding job. In fact, he went far above and beyond what I anticipated and expected. Now, a brief rundown on Commandant Comet. She doesn't realize that she has these superpowers, and that gets explained in the story. I don't want to say too much how that happens, but just a basic rundown on her abilities and her powers. It's a bit of a mix of magic and cosmic and energy manipulation. She can fly. She has a medium level of invulnerability, but she can create a force field which enhances her invulnerability, and she has medium level super strength. And Commandant Comet, and just very briefly too, she was a police officer before she becomes the character Commandant Comet, and she ends up as a leader of the She Agents team. And I'm just going to show you the Commandant Comet sketch, which I ended up coloring. Just testing out some of the colors. This was the color scheme I came up with for her costume. Although right now my intentions for the She Agents comic, which will first appear as an ash can, will more than likely be black and white. But I did want to test out to see what colors would look best on her costume, what I felt would look best. But and again, that's Stephen Butler's artwork based on my design and with my colors. And I used Copic sketch markers for the coloring. And then another member of the team who makes an appearance pretty quickly, in addition to Princess Vanna Strong, and that's Nature Girl. And again, I was fortunate enough to have commissioned comic book artist Stephen Butler a few years ago. Actually, 2016, it's been that long. But he drew Nature Girl for me based on my design, and I was extremely happy and very pleased with the artwork. I've received a lot of pleasant comments and compliments regarding Nature Girl. While it is my design, I did not draw this piece. Again, this was Stephen Butler, although her costume is, my design. Excuse me. Nature Girl, as her name implies, she does have control over the elements, fire, earth, air, water, that sort of thing. And she does have control over animals. She can, control animals and interact with them. And through her manipulation of air / the wind, she's able to quote unquote fly, although it's more like gliding, and hence this cape. It's a gliding cape. If you look at, Monica Rambeau, also known as Apple, a couple other characters have a similar cape, and yes, that was kind of a bit of an inspiration for her design here for that cape, but that is what I came up with. And I hope you will like her origin and backstory and bio. I won't describe too much of her right now, but she does play a key role in the formation of the She Agents team. Whoops, sorry, I knocked the camera there. And just a few more Nature Girl pieces. And again, Rock Baker, he had pencil. He did a pencil sketch for me And this is, well, I absolutely love, Stephen Butler's artwork. Rock came a little bit closer to how I envisioned her because I wanted, envision her as being a little bit younger, around 18, 19, hence the name Nature Girl. Rock did a really nice job. I mean, it's quote unquote a simple pose. I didn't even give him any specifics. He just came up with this great pose, which I absolutely adore. And then I inked his pencils. And again, Rock Baker, he did a fantastic job on Nature Girl here. And again, my inks over Rock's wonderful pen. And I will show you that piece which I did color. And again, there's a Nature Girl again in color with my colors. And again, that's Nature Girl. And she is a member of the She Agents team. And here's a sketch I did. This was intended as a promo piece. And I actually sold this one a couple years ago to a private collector. And he said, he and his daughter actually liked her. So I was really pleased to hear that. But this is a print of a promo piece I did a couple years ago featuring Nature Girl. And that is my artwork, my ink, and my colors. And she's holding a dove with an olive branch in its beak. And again, that's my take on Nature Girl. Not my take, but my character, Nature Girl. And yes, people have asked, those are freckles. She has red hair, and yes, her costume's a little bit green, and yes, it's a little bit similar in color and um, trying to poison ivy. Definitely not. She's the opposite of poison ivy. I just felt that these colors work best for Nature Girl. Although, and again, Nature Girl, the She Agents comic, the Ash Can, at least, is intended to be in black and white. But, I was trying out some promo artwork for the She Agents, and that's what I came up with. I had other pieces too, but that's actually one of the better ones. I will probably show off some more in the near future. And although I'm recording this, please forgive me. I do need to drink some water. Okay, we're back. So up next is another member of the She Agents team. And again, she will show up in the first issue in the Valor. And I was really fortunate to have been able to commission comic book artist Stephen Butler to draw Lady Valor based on my design. And I really cannot reveal too much about her right now, but as you can see, you'll think a little bit of a Valkyrie character, although she's not a Valkyrie. Okay, I need to emphasize that right there. She has a different origin. I will say this much: she does wield the flaming sword of truth, as you can see here. But regarding her powers, and abilities, of course, she's a warrior type character. She is a little bit, actually more than a little bit, but she's magic based. She does have the power of flight. She does have a good a high level of super strength, combat skills, and experience. Actually, several eons worth, if you want me to give a little bit of a hint there. Her armor does offer an added level of protection and invulnerability. Although I will probably make some changes on her costume a little bit, but she does wield the shield as well, and she does have flight ability, and again she has super strength and a good degree of invulnerability, and she has combat skills and knowledge. And I'm going to be just a little bit arrogant here and say that Stephen Butler, he did tell me directly that this was his favorite character of the ones I had commissioned him to draw. He really liked the costume and the design and the concept because he just enjoyed drawing her. And one thing I really like about Stephen Butler, not only his style, but his ability to draw and render metallic objects and everything. And probably explains why he was, really well regarded for his work on Silver Sable. If anyone knows Spider-Man and the mercenary character Silver Sable and her costume, you will know what I'm talking about. But again, the artwork, the line artwork is by Stephen Butler, based on my design, and this is my character, Lady Valor. And again, Lady Valor, like my other pieces, I tested out some colors, and this is what I came up with. I had a couple of pieces that I colored, but I think this one's probably the best. On the other one, I had a little bit of mix of red and orange for the flames, but there were some other details that didn't come out quite as well. But this is what I came up with. Excuse me. And again, just what I was testing out, trying to see what I could create. Although, and again, I'm repeating myself here, but the She Agents, the comic, the Ash Can, that first issue will be black and white. Maybe we'll have a full color cover. I'm not quite sure. And just to go back on the She Agents comic as well, I have mentioned in the past I would like to have it out by the end of this year. It probably won't happen this year, unfortunately. It may be next year sometime, early spring, winter if possible. I don't know, but we will see what transpires. It just doesn't appear it's going to be the end of this year. But again, I may be jumping the gun. I may be getting ahead of myself. I cannot give a definitive date. I haven't launched anything on any kind of crowdfunding campaign or whatnot. Not even sure if I'm going to do that. But anyway, and here's a couple more pieces featuring Lady Valor. And again, more fantastic artwork by Rock Baker. He did the pencils. I absolutely love this pose. I really love this pose. I just asked Rock to draw her flying through the air, flying, wielding the sword, and this is what he came up with. I mean, look at that; it's really fantastic. And I did ink Rock's pencils, but Rock is a fantastic artist, and he makes it very easy for a novice and an amateur like me to ink. So, I mean, giant shout out to Rock for his fantastic work. And again, that's Lady Valor, with the pencils by Rock Baker and with my inks. And here's another fantastic pose that Rock drew for me. And again, he just, I just asked him to draw a couple of sketches of her wielding the sword, flying through the air, and this is what he came up with. I mean, it's pretty obvious, she's thrusting the sword. I mean, that angle, I mean, with the flames as well, just the concept and that perspective. Not an easy task, but he took it upon himself to do it. And I still haven't finished inking this one. Excuse me. I still haven't finished it, but I'm afraid to mess it up, quite honestly. But again, this is another wonderful piece that Rock Baker had drawn for me. Now, as has been mentioned in the past, I will give a shout out to Doc Blalock there. He's mentioned this, and I've heard other people say this too, and it's fantastic advice. You can't have superheroes unless you have supervillains. So, and some good villains, and I do agree. And I hope that you and other potential readers will like the villains I've created, and they will show up as foils for the She Agents team. Now, this first one is my character Iron Lady. It may sound like a generic name, but there is a character in the public domain. She made a brief appearance as a comic character. Actually, she was a hero, a heroine, but I changed around. I made her a villain, and as her name implies, she has a metallic alloy skin. Iron Lady. As you can see, she does have rivets along her body, and she does have super strength. She can also manipulate magnetism, electromagnetism, which enables her to quote unquote fly, levitate. She also can levitate and manipulate other metallic objects. And again, she has a very high level of invulnerability, and she's a major foe to the She agents and to Command that Combat in particular. And one thing about her, though, she commits these crimes. She's going after the She agents. No one knows why. And another unique thing about her personality quirk, she does not talk. No one knows why, but I just wanted to make her a bit mysterious and, kind of question, why is she doing what she's doing? But and that's my concept sketch for Iron Lady. And then another fantastic piece by another great comic book artist. This is by Mark Dial, and he drew Iron Lady for me a couple years back. And I just asked him to draw her lifting a heavy object, and this is what it came up with. And look at the rendering he did on her body, the metallic alloy, the way the way he depicted her metallic body, her iron body, if you want to, go that route. But again, that's his wonderful work that he did there. I was beyond pleased with that one. I really like it. I still like it, actually. Of course, I mean, I love it. I don't just like it. I love it. But he did a fantastic job, above and beyond what I had envisioned, what I had asked. And one more character. Actually, I think I got two more. Um, this is a character, three more. Actually, this is a character I created called Sister Scarab. Now, if you bear with me a second, I do need to stop and drink some water. So, excuse me. This is my character, Sister Scarab. Now, as you can see, she has some kind of armor. Well, it is a technic. I can't even say the word right. It is a technologically advanced suit, not unlike think Iron Man. It gives her several abilities and powers. One of which being the ability to fly, and it does give her a pretty good degree of invulnerability. And she also has some super strength, and she's very intelligent. She's able to hack into any kind of computer mainframe. She can manipulate electronic devices, and she has these spikes, which are both defensive weapons and also enables her to hack into um, other mainframe systems, electronic devices. I mean, the list goes on. She can do a variety of things and perform a number of tasks. But one thing about her is that she's pretty much off her rocker. She's off her gourd. She's pretty much insane, although she has enough intelligence to perform the task that she does. And she usually goes after anyone and everyone who gets in her way. And again, this is Sister Scarab, and she's another enemy of the She Agents team. And that is my concept design artwork there. And I do explain in the story why she has the scarab on the symbols on her armor. And here's one which I think is a little bit different. I hope you like. And this is my character called Gray Malkin. And if you can see, a bit of a feral feline type character, although she's definitely been altered. How she was altered, I will leave that to be explained in the story. And she has very long legs here. She has extremely powerful legs that enable her to leap very far distances. She's extremely agile. She has a mid-level super strength. She has a low-level invulnerability, but she's also very quick and agile and ferocious. and she has these very sharp talons on both her hands and on her feet here, as you can see. And this is my character, Gray Malkin. Yet another character that is an enemy of the She Agents team. And she actually does work in tandem with Iron Lady. So, and one more character, and I will have other villains and villainesses and enemies of the She Agents team. But here's just another quick one. I may change her energy form, the appearance of it a little bit, but it's a character I call Voltis, and as her name implies, she has energy slash electricity manipulation powers, and she can change her body into a form of electricity, which does enable her to travel through wires and even through the air. I mean, a variety of things that she can do. She can disrupt electronic devices and systems and electromagnetic objects, and she has electromagnetic manipulation powers as well. And I explained, what her suit is in the story, but that is Voltes, and that's another enemy agent of the She Agents team. Now I'm going to gather these drawings real quick, and I'm going to put them to the side. And then I'm going to color that nature girl sketch, which I tried before to do. And I don't know, it seemed like I had just a spate of bad luck. It did not turn out very well. So I was able to get some paper again, and I was able to print her off, and I will color nature girl here. And again, I do want to thank you for taking time to be here, to watch and to listen. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you're having a great day, whatever it is you may be doing. I know holidays can be a bit rough for a lot of people. Trust me, I've been there. I know it. It's not easy. Or if you have to work, yeah, it's always a challenge. But while we here in the U.S. we can be thankful for what we have, family, friends, and if you don't have much of either, you can be thankful for what you do have. I know I'm spouting some cliche remarks right now, but it's easy to forget. It's easy to get mired down in the negative stuff at times. It really is. It doesn't take much, but know that God loves you. I'm going to be just a little bit religious there and just say, Jesus loves you, whether you're a believer or not. That's up to you. That's just my opinion. But then again, what do I know? So I'm going to start off with coloring her skin. And hopefully I have enough ink in the marker. We will see. If I don't have enough ink, then I'll switch over to inking another sketch that I have. But we'll see what happens. And again, most of these characters that I have for the She Agents team, either their names or there are some similarities to characters that are, again, public domain. I talk about public domain stuff a lot. There are quite a few public domain comic book companies that went out of business. They didn't retain their copyrights, the trademarks and everything. And there are like over 3,500 comic book characters that are out there, quote unquote, floating around for people to use. I really didn't rip anything off. I tried to be original, but I will say that I did make use of some names, a little bit, some of the concepts, I touched upon a little bit. You will see some other characters show up that were either inspired or maybe have some kind of similarity or connection to those characters. But again, I strive to be, when I'm making noise, as original as I can. I'm knocking things around here. And, I'm talking about this and showing off this art. I really am still searching for an artist to help with the She Agents comic. We will see what may happen. But, times are tough for a lot of people right now. And I know, if you are here in the US and if you are celebrating Thanksgiving, I'm sure your grocery bill is reflecting that right now. But, let's try to overlook that the best that we can. It's not easy. Not everybody is fortunate enough to even eat today, have a place to live. Right now, I'm fortunate in that regard. How long that will last, I don't know. But, I trust God will not allow that to go another direction. And I want to give a sob story, but yeah, I've been down and out in the past, so I try to be appreciative of what I do have. Um, and again, it's not easy, especially when you're living alone or whatever. And I am too, but it's easy to get mired down and forget that, hey, we've got it pretty good. Not everyone and around not only our country but of course around the world, they're not as fortunate. But that's the way it goes sometimes, I guess. But there's still a way for us to survive. And as you can see, I'm kind of doing the circular color technique. It's been suggested by the Copic marker website to do so, like start off in the middle, then you work your way out. I don't always do that, but they do suggest to try to color in when using the markers in a like a circular fashion if you can. And I absolutely love the Copic markers. But as anyone knows who's ever used them, has purchased them, they're not cheap, but quality does come at a price. Uh, However, they create their ink. It's an alcohol ink based marker. Um, I'm not sure what their formula is, but their colors are vibrant and quote unquote thicker and easier to use. The only ones that really come close, but they're disposable, are the Pro markers, Premier, Prismacolor, the Prismacolor. I'm sorry. There we go. Uh, the disposable markers, they have a similar formula with their alcohol ink, but of course, as the name implies, they are disposable. Although really great colors, really great color choice too. The range of colors is great. So if you don't want to invest in the refill inks and everything, if you just want some refills, the top of the line are the Prismacolor Pro markers. And in the same vein, although I'm not sure that the company is still around, and they're a British company, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but the Electroset Pro markers, another great brand of disposable markers. And the viscosity and the thickness and the vibrancy of their colors is just wonderful. Although I really haven't been able to find too many, and again, they may no longer be in business. That may be the case, and any ones that I've seen have been the smaller sets, and they're not cheap. But I just can't praise them enough, though. And I've tried other brands. The Spectrum Noir, Now I have mixed emotions about them. Now their refillables are pretty good. Their disposables are so-so, and the reason I say they're so-so is because the caps, you have to be extra careful when you take the caps off. They have a tendency to break off, and you're just left with a broken tip and a stem in the barrel of the marker. And one other thing too about the Spectrum Noir markers, you have to color with layers, not just one or two, but like three or four, just to get the colors down. And that, of course, does end up costing in the long run. Now, they do have illustration markers, which are similar to the Copic with the brush marker tips. I honestly haven't tried them yet. They're a little bit more expensive than their other line of markers. I might try it, and they also have watercolor aqua markers. Um, I thought about getting some watercolor markers. We'll see. I might do that sometime in the near future. But again, I have to have the right paper, and I just don't have the right paper for that. But with the watercolor, anything watercolor actually, you do run the risk of the colors not being light fast. And what I mean by not being light fast, the colors will fade over time, especially if they're exposed to light. So the way to avoid that is to print off the artwork that you've created, in a high quality scanner slash printer, or have a, like maybe Staples or Office Depot or someplace, scan it for you, print it off, and then you can touch up that artwork with some alcohol ink markers. Just a little bit of a tip to anyone who's using the watercolor markers. That much I do know. And of course, you can add, like with the alcohol ink markers, what I've seen comic book artist Aaron Lopresti do, which oddly I had done in the past, not knowing that he was doing this, but I colored with the Copic marker, and then I would take a colored pencil over the artwork that I color over it that I done, because I wanted to just to touch up everything. And then I was watching Aaron Lopresti. This is like a year and a half ago or so, and I saw him doing that, and not thinking, oh, I'm great or anything. It's just, okay, well, I'm not the only one who does that. But that's what he does when he colors his artwork. And I say this not to compare myself to him, because he's like light years above and beyond most people, of course, myself included. But if you ever do get a chance to watch Aaron Lopresti, do check out his channel. I can't emphasize that enough. And actually, I happen to have a couple of limited edition posters that I bought. I want to say 2 years ago, maybe not quite that long. But one was a private commission he did for a customer, and it features Brainiac going up against the Justice League and other superheroes, and it's a really great piece. It's a limited edition one. The customer gave Aaron permission to make some prints off of that artwork that he had commissioned him to do, and I get a look at it every day. It's hanging up on my wall above my craft table, and it's a really good piece. And the other poster I have by Erin Lopresti is of Kit Carter, and she's facing off against the Molten Menace, a kind of like a giant lava man, and which is funny because I'm going to feature lava men in my the first issue of the She Agents team. Spoiler alert, but anyway, so you will see some lava men going up against a couple of the She Agents, not the entire team, and just a couple of characters. It's setting things up, and of course, a lava men are another common trope, but they're fun to use. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. If you just want a basic monster character to use, lava men are great, my opinion. I mean, how do you defeat a creature made out of lava? I mean, really. And I will add some more, a little bit more detail and darken a few areas up on Nature Girl's skin here. But first, I want to get to her costume, or maybe her hair. I'm not sure which. Maybe I'll go to her hair first. And unfortunately, I don't think I had the right. I may not have had the right red. I may have to go over to the. Um, Speaking of the Spectrum Noir, but let's see here. This is the coral red that I have here. I thought I had the lipstick. Actually, I'm talking to myself here. Forgive me for just a minute. I need to double check the colors that I have in this um, container real quick. I may not have it in this one. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but like with the just another thing too, like if you have artwork that's on glossier cardstock, this is supposed to be smooth cardstock. It's not really. It's a little bit, but it's still a heavier cardstock. But if you happen to have your own artwork or maybe a print of your artwork that's on glossy cardstock and you want to use an alcohol ink marker, what you might want to do, actually, what a lot of people do, they will start off by coloring with either a Copic marker, usually that's a number 0, a cool gray, or maybe a C2 cool gray, just as a base. You don't have to, but I've seen other people do it. I do it sometimes if I feel up to it. But forgive me a minute, I need to double check to see where that marker is that I need. And again, forgive the noise. I'm pushing my chair around a little bit, so rolling around on the chair. And I'm going to make some noise by fishing through this box to see if I can find the marker that I want. I think it's the dark red that I wanted. Yeah, it's a dark red that I wanted to get. So I'm going to use a mix of dark red and coral red on her hair. I thought I had lipstick red Copic marker, but it doesn't have it any longer. I don't know what I did with it. But it's just as well. I'm going through this. I want to be pink out too. But again, these Spectrum Noir markers, I'm on the fence about, in between. It depends what kind you get. I imagine the illustration markers are probably the best ones to get. These are just the basic Spectrum Noir. So let me see here. That one's too dark. But so, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with the, actually maybe the coral, and then work my way out. And again, I really appreciate you being here to watch and listen. The fact you're just sparing time to do so means a lot to me personally. Although I don't know who may be there right now when this gets posted, but I do want to thank you. So I'm going to start off on the interior sections of her strands of hair. If I even have enough ink in this marker, I don't know. I may not have enough ink. It doesn't feel like it. Yeah, I don't have enough ink in that marker anyway, and I'm not going to make a mess and try to refill that right now. So I'm just going to go to the dark red 3 Spectrum Noir marker here. Although, oh crap, actually I forgot that. See, this is what I was talking about. This is the one marker that came apart. I can't get it back together. I forgot about that. So I'm going to have to go with the other tip, which I don't like to do, but but I still can manage with it. But anyway, Yeah, you have to be really careful with these markers. They come apart pretty easily. Oh, I had the shin hand markers. That's what I had in the past. Maybe I should have kept them, but the experience, the problem I had with them, not their performance or the colors, but unable to get the refill inks. They were constantly out of stock all the time. They have some great colors. I like the markers quite a bit, but holy cannoli is just, it became a major hassle. So I just, I had a few, but I thought, okay, you know what? Once a sense of getting them if they're constantly unavailable. And I was on more than one art supplier, online, retail uh, art supplier online, and each seller, same thing, either because of popularity of them or just because the company was unable to keep up with demand. I'm not quite certain. But long story short, I thought, you know what? It's just too much of a hassle. So I stopped with the Shinhan, which sucked because the prices were, not bad. Um, Maybe just a couple cents less than the other brands, but with art supplies, every penny counts. I'm sure anyone who purchases art supplies, the traditional art supplies, whether it's markers, or inks, you know that they're not cheap. And actually, I used to have quite a few markers and supplies, and unfortunately, I didn't keep them all. I had moved, and actually, like an idiot, not saying idiot, but ended up giving some stuff away. I just didn't want the hassle of trying to, sell everything. But that happens. You're in, um, not so much a situation, but just I was in a situation. I just had decided to move back here to Nebraska. Whether that was good or not, I don't know. But and at the time of this video, that is currently where I live. I currently reside in a small town, um, pretty much in between the cities of Omaha and Lincoln. I've only been to Omaha a couple of times. The last time I was to Omaha, I attended a comic book convention, and I believe that was around 2018. The experience was okay. It could have been better, but I was literally at my heaviest as far as my weight is concerned. Um, Looking back, actually, it's pretty embarrassing. I was so fat. I still am overweight, mind you, but I'm not nearly as big as I used to be. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling on. I'm not sure, and it's called the Old Comic Con, or the Omaha Comic Con. It was it was an interesting experience. I did meet a few nice people there. There were a few vendors who were out and out political, which I didn't like. There were a lot of anti-Trump slogans, and using their artwork for to platform and everything. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But anyway, I did meet a few nice creators and vendors, and I was able. And but my favorite thing though, and was the cosplay competition. There was a young lady who lives in a town about 15 miles over. I don't know if she's still around or not, if she has moved, um, but she did a really nice job on a World of Warcraft character. I could not tell you what the character's name was, but she was out there. She was really not out there in a bad way, but she did a really nice job and everything. Very attractive too. But the character is kind of was it a warrior type female character? But yeah, and she won. Actually, she won the competition. So, but my favorite, not only her, but a couple of my favorites. One did a Bride of Frankenstein. And she was busy interacting with a whole lot of other people, and I really wanted to get some pictures of her, but I just couldn't catch up with her. Um, I was actually I was really surprised at how many nice the cosplayers were towards me, and again at the time I was a lot heavier. I was just using my dang cell phone too to take pictures. I didn't have anything professional set up, but they were all very friendly, and I'm talking the ladies. I was really blown away by that, and then there was a couple, although the husband didn't dress up, but the wife, she dressed up as she did cosplay as Morticia from the Addams family. She looked really good. I mean, of course, not in a perverted way, but in a pleasant way. She did a really nice job. Um, really, really good job on that. But there was some really great some cosplay. The competition was fun to watch. They had age range from kids really got into it, which is cool. And then of course they had adults, and everyone had a good time. Unfortunately, I don't know what the status is regarding the old Comic Con, whether it will happen again or not. The last I read, they're going. I could be wrong. My impression was they were going a little bit political, and then with the coup and everything, they put it off. And the last I saw that they're saying that you can't cosplay as certain patriotic characters. Like really? So I don't know whoever was in charge, but that was if they were going to have it, they made sure to say that. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. I take that back. That was for an Iowa convention, not for the old Comic Con. My apologies to anyone who may be listening about that. No, the old Comic Con was delayed or put off due to the coup crap. But there was a convention in Iowa that I thought would be cool to look at or whatever. But that was their opening header was patriotic characters or how was patriotic. What happened was patriotic or certain cultural. You can't appropriate certain cultural characters, which is code for, you're not welcome here. So like, whatever. People are just they're just off. They're just off of their. Sorry about the jostling of the camera there. So I'm going to try to get to her costume here. Hopefully I have enough green. Oh, and of course that one's out of ink too. I don't think I had to. I would have refilled it, but I don't think I have the colors for it. So here we go. We'll go with this one a little bit darker for the outer edge of her cape and her costume in general. But we'll have to go with this one here. I may not even have enough ink in that one either. So let me check my Spectrum Noir markers to see if I have any greens. I may not have the right greens. I should have checked all this before I started recording, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Oh boy, oh boy. Let me see here. That one may be a little bit too dark, but let me see. Forgive me for talking to myself here. I'm just rambling on and on. So, okay. Let me take a look here to see if this has the right. No, of course that one's dried out too. Not enough ink. Oy vey. And again, I have to be really careful with taking these caps off, or I run the risk of ruining And this is just a little bit too dark, but I'm going to have to go with it for the outer edges of her cape here, and the outline on her costume too. And again, thank you for being here. I've been talking and rambling quite a bit, but I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching. If you're able to watch today, this afternoon or evening, wherever you may be, your time is greatly appreciated. And if you happen to be watching this on Pops Van Zant's YouTube channel, thank you for doing so. And if you have not yet subscribed to his channel, please do so. And if you like what you're watching and seeing and listening here, don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe, of course, if you're not already subscribed. And I will, promote my channel as well. My YouTube channel is Eric and Boyd Art. And if you are not yet subscribed over there, please do so. If you are subscribed, I want to thank you. And if you're watching on my channel side, please hit the like button as well. I would really appreciate it. And, I've been posting daily videos featuring my take on various comic book, mythological, fantasy, characters of legend and lore that are all public domain, and they are in my video playlist called the Public Domain Daily Playlist. And if you ever have time, please check them out. Please watch and listen to them. Most are under a minute, a few maybe over just a little bit over a minute. But again, they're my sketches I've done in the past and some new ones that I've created. But again, they're all my takes on characters that are public domain. And I would really appreciate that. It would help me if you were to watch them. And again, if you like any or if you like all, hit the like button. And I'm going to say one more time, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. And I am trying to build an audience for my pending projects. And when I'm done coloring this, I will show off the published work I have done. And again, I'm just a small press / independent. I'm amateur artist, comic book wannabe, as a certain creator has said about people like myself. He didn't say it directly to me, but he said it about other creators, which he didn't mean it in a pleasant way. Which okay, and unfortunately, it's an artist and a person I like, but his ego is pretty big, and it's not who you think it is actually. But whatever. But anyway, I'm kind of putting myself down a little bit. I shouldn't be. I'm struggling to improve. I'm working on trying to improve, even at my age. I have a long way to go. I recognize that. So having anyone watch, check out my art, possibly purchase my art or my comics that I have planned, that means a lot to me personally. I really appreciate it. And I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have at least a little bit of interest. So if I didn't have an interest, I probably, would just post this for myself or whatever. But even that's kind of silly. But anyway, I'm going on and on. But yeah. So I have the She Agents comic that I want to have released soon. I also have another comic too, which I didn't mention. I didn't show off the characters this time, but some of you may have seen another comic title I have that I want to work on, and that's called the Paranormal Rogue Operatives. and it's another all-female team with one quote-unquote male character. Although the male character is a gremlin, it's not a human, but and they are paranormal investigators slash monster hunters. It's a little bit lighter in tone than the She Agents, although there will still be plenty of good girl art, bad girl art, action, monsters, villains, vampires, you name it. But definitely, I definitely have some humor interjected in it. That's the only agenda I have, other than what I'm saying, just to have some fun with that concept. Because the horror stuff to me, if it's not like even the monster. I mean, while I like the good monster stuff, a lot of it is just kind of funny to me. But that's just myself. Although, of course, horror can be well done, but I like to kind of poke fun at it all. But that's another one I do want to offer. And I will probably post um, another drawing live stream showing those characters and the concept sketches. And I actually have the ash can for it, but the problem is that when I inked it, I ruined it really bad. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to go over it again and redo everything. I mentioned and showed Brock Baker. Brock did the pencils for me on that ash can. He did a great job, but unfortunately, I ruined it with my inks. I did a sloppy job. I ruined everything, so I'm gonna have to go over that again. And I'm just going to touch upon. Uh, I will show these here in a little bit, but some of you may know about my character named Mr. Muck. He was accepted as a story, a brief 8-page introduction origin story, which I created, I wrote, and illustrated. And again, my artwork could have been a lot better. I still think I should have. I revised it one time, but I looked at it again, like, well, you know what? I still could have done a whole lot better on it. But it was a learning experience. I received the opportunity to get published with Golden Era Comics, and it's going to be in Golden Era Comics Presents issue number 5. Although I have a couple of comp copies right now, I don't think it's available for purchase just yet, but I will give you a preview of that comic when I'm done with this artwork, coloring Nature Girl here. And I didn't start off with coloring from the inside out of cape. I don't always do that. I know I should, but I didn't do that time. I was just getting lost and trying to find the right green colors for Nature Girl's cotton here. So, and yes, I'm making excuses, but that's the way it goes. And again, thank you very much for being here, for taking time to watch and to listen. And if you are new here, if you have not yet seen me before, um, my name is Eric and Boyd. I'm an amateur small press comic book creator. I've drawn various uh, pin-up art, sketch cards, and this year I decided to strike out and write and create some comic books. And the titles I have right now, the one I just published, again, I finished it's a character called Mr. Muck, and Mr. Muck features the story around Hammond Greenman. He's a botanist. He was hired by the Verdant pharmaceutical company to investigate and locate and cultivate a group of flowers and herbs that were purported to have unique healing powers, medicinal powers. and there were rumors about them. The company had a good idea where they were located. They were actually in Ireland, and Hammond had extensive knowledge regarding this topic. He's a botanist, so they sent him over there. But he did find them, and in the process of finding them and cultivating them, a mystical mist is released, and he's transformed into a creature, not a monster creature, but he's transformed into the supernatural superhero called Mr. Mugg. And Mr. Muck does, and not unlike Nature Girl here, but Mr. Muck has some control over the elements. He can manipulate earth, fire, air, water, and he also has elasticity and mass manipulation powers. Um, he discovers, who he is along the way, why he's been chosen, and I try to give a bit of a Bronze Age feel to the character and to the story, although it takes place during quote unquote modern times, current time. And I hope you would check it out. And I have been in talks with a couple of artists because I would like to continue with Mr. Muck, but I would prefer to have a better artist or on board for all of that. And also, it will free me up with time to pursue the she agents and the pros. And my intention with Mr. Muck actually is to have him lead a team. And I do have other characters in mind. And yes, they actually do have a connection with each other. And that, again, that will probably be next year, God willing, if, things are able to work out. And I do have a name chosen for the team. I just don't want to say it right now. Not that there's anything mysterious or great about it. It's just, I don't want to spoil it too much. But I hope you like the characters that I have created. And again, I do hope to collaborate with an artist soon. We will see. I've been in talks with a couple of them, and it's not like that anyone's asking too much. I just currently don't have the funds for it. And I'm not going to do a crowdfunding thing where, okay, I'm going to ask people for money before I have anything, started. I'm not going to do that. Having been burned by one, two, three different campaigns, I don't want to fall. I mean, I want to do it anyway, despite my experience, but I want to be absolutely certain that I have things underway. If I were to even do that, if I even do a crowdfunding thing, I doubt it. But I know a better sell for crowdfunding anything, especially anything that I have in mind. But you never know. You never know. And again, I didn't. I didn't start off in the center. I worked on the outside, and um, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a white space right there. And if you are in the USA, and if you're sparing time to watch and listen today, again, thank you, especially on this holiday. I really appreciate that. Um, but of course, most importantly, if you are with friends and family, devote your time to them first. If you catch this on a replay, I really appreciate that too. I'm thankful and grateful that you are taking time to do that. that means a lot to me. Um, and just to add, although I've said it before, and I have this the paperwork and everything, all the characters, Nature Girl, Commandant Comet, Lady Valor, excuse me, Princess Vanna Strong, Iron Lady, Grey Malkin, Voltes, Sister Scarab, all the characters, the images, the concepts, and designs that were seen, not only in this video, but past videos, everything that you have seen, all the images and artwork, and the She Agent's name, all the names there, copyright Eric and Boyd. It just, I have to throw that out there. I don't like having to throw that out there, but I'm saying it anyway, just to be on the safe side. And I hope no one thinks I'm being arrogant for saying that, but you have to. CYA, anyone who's ever worked in health, the health field in one fashion or another, um, you may be familiar with that acronym abbreviation, cover your ass. And again, forgive me for the cursing, but I did say that. But CYA, it always never hurts um, to be on the safe side, my opinion. Not that I anticipate anyone think what I'm doing is all that great, but wanting to steal it. But anyway, and actually, there is. I'm going to mention. I forgot to spell this name, and forgive me for that one. Oh, I'll remember it later. But there's another creator. He has an all female team, and actually I really like it. And the name of the team also uses an acronym, but he's underway. He's got it's the second campaign, and I didn't even know about it until recently. So I just want him to know, I didn't know about it. I never, intended to any ripping off or anything. I started this, this whole concept thing of the She Agents around 2015, 2016. Actually had it under a different name, but I changed it. And the reason I changed the name is because you're someone who actually has a copyright to that name that I had originally created. I don't want to mention it right now just to avoid any problems. It wasn't a comic, actually. It's just someone had copyright / trademark for the name. They even had a website for the name. So I was like, well, I can't use that. So I had to change it around. Which, that happens. No big deal. But fortunately, I was able to. It took me a while to come up with this name. Actually, it's pretty simple, but anyway. So let me take a look here. Oops. And then, of course, I drop a pen. Oh, and there goes the camera. I'm sorry about jostling the camera right there. And let's see here. Oh, this is the right. Hopefully, this will be a decent enough color. And this is lipstick orange. So there we go. And I need to color the flowers. And for some stupid reason, when I had tried to pronounce the name of this color in the past, I totally messed it up. And that's hydrangea. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but in the past I had called it hydrangea. Like, no, that's not. I don't know why I was struggling with that, but I did. That's what I called it. And I'm trying to see if I have, yeah, I do have that marker. And speaking of Spectrum Noir again, they have this triple, the tri-blend marker, which is not bad. But again, you have, different shades and tones of the colors. I do like these. But again, with these disposable markers, you have to be so careful when you pull off the barrel. That's just, I would, and again, and you also have to lay down um, several layers just to get the colors down. But for this marker, it's still all right. I don't. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy them. It's just mentioning the pros and cons of this brand of marker is all. And I know Winsor Newton also makes a professional marker, and I know they have a really good rating, but again, they're pretty expensive. They're not exactly cost effective for me, or else I would definitely get them. But I know they've received high praises, just like the Copic markers. Actually, I've seen them more expensive than the Copic markers, but you know, and some people actually just use the inks, the India inks or the alcohol inks. Take a brush, maybe mix it with something, a little bit of water, or whatever, and just brush the artwork that way. That would probably be a good thing for me to do. But I'm so messy with everything. Probably not the greatest idea, but maybe one day I will try to go that route. We will see. But this is a great. I really like the shade, the um, hydrangea, and I'm usually pretty good at pronouncing things, but once in a while I do struggle with a few words. Um, I don't seem to struggle too much with Spanish for some reason, but okay, whatever. But you know, it is what it is. And German as well. I don't struggle too much with German. I can understand and speak a little bit of both, not a whole lot. I used to speak a lot more, not a whole lot again, but you know, but that's another topic. I really need to check them out again, both languages. I even learned a few Romanian words and how to count to 10 several years ago. And the reason I did that, as you might be able to guess, I met a young lady at a place where I worked, quite an attractive young lady, and she seemed to like me. And so I took it upon myself to learn a little bit of Romanian. And after I finally learned how to count to 10, I told her about it, and she was impressed. I probably would have dated her, but little did I know that she already had a boyfriend. I'm like, okay, but I literally did not know at the time. I didn't know, but when you're working, you don't always interact with everybody. You don't know, it's probably not the greatest thing either, though, to try to, date someone at work. Although I've done it before, um, but anyway, I don't know why I went off on that subject, but I did. So, but don't ask me how to count to 10 in Romania now. I've done forgot. I've forgotten. That was so long ago, long, long time ago. And this shade that I'm using here is called Toast, but it's pretty good for the deeper skin tone areas. Like the outline and shaded areas if you want to convey for the flesh tone, skin tone, like say under the strands of hair here, the shade under her neck. And I do need to touch up the tips with a Premier Prismacolor pen. I'm going to have to do that later. And I also need to color the background as well. But I don't want to run too long on time here, but I'm going to try to get most of this colored. And then I will show those that comic book. And I'm going to bring out a pale pink, right? Pale, but a pink color marker. If I don't destroy it, here we go. And again, this is the Spectrum Noir. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink here to the outline on her chest / breasts. And her eyeshadow. And just a little bit around the strands of her hair there. And I'm going to color her freckles with the pink marker as well. They're not standing out as well as I wanted them to. And again, thank you very much for sparing time out of your day to watch and listen to this. And yes, this has been this is a pre-recorded video. Like a few people, I'm going to be elsewhere. Actually, I'll be with family. And I'm grateful for that. Actually, I'll just, say I'll be with my mom and a couple of family friends, and I'll be in the city of Lincoln. And we have a good day planned. And my favorite thing that my mom makes, two things that my mom makes. She makes baroques. I don't know if anybody, or b-rocks, or, it's pronounced differently by other people. They're cabbage rolls, basically, is what they are, with ground beef and onion, and usually cheese, usually Swiss cheese. But she makes those really well. But she also makes great deviled eggs. I like when your mom makes deviled eggs. But I'm going to be grateful to have anything to eat, let alone, all the food that they have planned. So, and again, I'll mention this again, I haven't always had a great Thanksgiving. That does happen. And if that's your case this year, hang in there. Hang in there. Trust me, things will get better. Maybe not 100%, but and okay. Now this isn't 100% complete. I still need to add a few details, like on the tips of her hair, and the background here, and the color of the sky, and everything and everything else involved. But that's Nature Girl with my colors. It's about 80% complete. I need to do a few touch ups here and there. And thank you for watching me color my character, Nature Girl. And again, this line artwork was by Stephen Butler, based on my design. And thanks for watching that. And bear with me a minute while I try to put these markers away, and the pens away, and I will grab that comic book so y'all can take a look at it if you haven't seen it before, featuring my character, Mr. Muck, which is in, or scheduled to be in, Golden Era Comics Presents issue number 5. And again, at this posting, it is not quite yet available for sale, but I did receive a couple of copies. So the least I can do right now is show it. And when I'm informed it's available, I will either post a video or mention it online via social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, that sort of thing. If anyone would like to purchase one, I do have a couple of the comp copies. I would like to sell one of them, honestly, myself. I also still have the. Whoops! I'm so sorry about that. Now you've got to view the kitchen front door area there. But if you're watching this, listen to this. If you follow me on Twitter, reach out to me. Maybe I'll post it on Twitter if anyone would like to buy the copy. And I also have the original artwork too. If no one wants to purchase it that way, then I will post it on eBay. Actually, I'll probably post it on eBay anyway, since I'm not using PayPal anymore. Although you can still pay, anyone wants to buy something from me on eBay, you can still use PayPal. But and again, I apologize for jostling the camera around a little bit. Not intended to do that. But okay, here, let me put this to the side. And again, this is Golden Era Comics Presents issue number 5. And again, there's my character, Mr. Muck, down here in the corner. And then there's a character, American Guard. And then Mr. Chameleon. The other artists and writers in here did a really good job with their characters. Me, I could have done better, but I'll just give a quick preview of a couple of the pages for my Mr. Muck story. And I won't go into detail regarding what's going on here too much, because I would like for you to check out the comic itself, to buy it and everything. So you can support Mark Davis, who's the publisher and editor of Golden Era Comics Presents. And again, that's issue number 5. I do have two comp copies. And if anyone would like one or maybe both of them, I'd be happy to work out something with you. And I keep bumping this camera, the table. I'm not intending to, so please forgive me on that one. Let me take a look here. And this is the original artwork. That page you just saw, prior to the lettering and the other effects that the art editor added. So, and I do have 8 pages here. And there's another one of the pages. Let me see here. A couple of the pages didn't come out quite as well as I wanted. Like 2 of the pages, actually. 6 of them did. 2 of them did not. I could have done a better job with the inking. I should have went heavier in areas. Some of it came out scratchy. Some of it came out pretty nice. I wasn't consistent. I have to work on being consistent. I'm aware of that. Pardon me, I had to drink some water. And I mentioned my public domain daily playlist. I'm just going to show off a few of the sketches that are in the videos. I have more, But there's a character, a basic supervillain, if you want to call him basic, and he's also both a hero and a villain. There are two different characters with the same name, and actually one called Black Hood, and there's one called the Hood, two called the Hood. I mean, if you do a deep dive on public domain superheroes for the character the Hood or the Black Hood. But anyway, this is my take on the Hood, and as you can tell, probably guess I made him a bad guy. And this is a quick sketch I did the other day. And again, this is in my public domain, a daily video playlist. If you want to check them out, I would appreciate it. And there was a character, a patriotic character, a comic character called American Eagle years ago. And of course, the original one was a male. And if I remember right, he was an airplane pilot. I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, that's what he was. But because it's public domain, I changed the costume and I did switch gender. In this instance, it's not an established Marvel or DC character. It's free to use, so I could do that, and that's what I did here. My take on American Eagle. I changed, made the character female, changed the design of the costume, and that's my take on American Eagle. And again, you can see a video showing her in my public domain daily playlist on my channel, Eric and Boyd Art. And this is another sketch I did sometime back for fun, using several public domain characters. And this one is Cormoran. And you probably remember that giant character, although I made him a lot different. Jack the Giant Slayer, if I remember correctly, is where it was from. But I made Cormoran appearance wise a little bit different. But there's a character called Ace Powers down here in the corner. And then there was a character called Magnet. And yes, that was his name, Magnet. And then a character called Star down here in the corner. And then one of my personal favorites actually is a character called Vapo Man. And as you can see here, he's leaving a bit of a trail of vapor behind him. And he's a pretty cool character, actually. One of my favorite personal Vapo Man and Hydra Man are a couple of my personal favorite public domain superheroes, along with Captain Flash. Those three really rank up there as my favorites. But anyway, this also is in my public domain daily playlist. And one last item I'm going to promote real quick, if you don't mind. The Indelible Comics Group. They've been publishing several titles, and one they've had out for a little bit now is this comic coloring book. And I do have the video on my channel where I go through each and every page, and I mention the name of the artist for the artwork involved. But I'm going to, not to be arrogant here, I'm just going to skip to my pages here. But do check out this video, because if you want a really good view of the artwork that is in here, and trust me, there's some really nice artwork in this coloring book. Even if you don't get it to color, at least buy it to check it out. And I'm trying to, I have an index on the back, or glossary I should say, and I should check to see where my artwork is. But here we go. Okay. And anyone knows, Indelible, they decided to revive the name of, or revive the Dell Comics Company to a degree. Their superhero and monster and other fantasy characters lapsed into the public domain. They had a comic called Spaceman. Pretty basic name, pretty basic title, but it ran for a few issues though. It was pretty popular, and actually, if you look it up, they had some really beautiful painted covers for Spaceman. Now, this is my take on Spaceman. I changed him around a little bit, but here's my take on Spaceman, and he's facing off against an alien monster creature here. And I drew this on the back of a comic book backing board, which I sometimes do. But I made basic outlines, so if anyone wants to color the art, they can color it. And then again, I've shown this before, but this is my take on the giant robot character, another popular Dell Comics character called Neutro. and I drew him here trying to take down a suspension bridge. And then there's a character, a superhero character, yet again another public domain character, and his name is Phantasmo, and he can grow to giant proportions, and he has other superpowers and abilities. Pretty unique character, actually. I do encourage you to look up Phantasmo, Phantasmo, and Neutro is Neutro. Both are pretty cool characters, a lot of fun. I had fun drawing this one, and actually had more detail. I had like a highway, the bridge with um, vehicles on it, but evidently probably wasn't large enough to be shown here. But anyway, that's my take on Neutral and Phantasmo, and I will get to the last page. And well, but before I do, I will give one more shout out to Kevin James Freer, whose artwork is fantastic. Look at that, and that's his character, Knave of Spades. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of artwork there. Too good to be colored, if you ask me. But anyway, there was a Dell Comics superhero called the Owl. Now, I mentioned Kevin James Freer, who did this artwork over here. This is Kevin's take on the owl. He made an update to the costume, which I really, really, really like. And I drew the owl based on his design, actually. And this is the owl, and he's facing off against the villain known as Spectre. And no, it is not the DC Comics Spectre. Spectre is a pretty common name to use, concept to use in comics, but I did change them around a little bit. I drew this ectoplasmatic steam, whatever you want to call it, coming out of his eyes, a little bit different, kind of made him menacing looking. So, and again, if you want to get this is issue number 1. You can find this on Amazon Prime. If it's in the USA, I believe it's $5.99 or $6.99. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get free shipping. Although if you do color, do make sure you put a piece of paper, between each piece here, to prevent bleed through. Although honestly, I recommend getting it just to flip through. That's my opinion. Although you can do what you want. And forgive me for just one more minute here while I get some more water. There we go. And actually, Indelible Comics is working on the Indelible Comics coloring book number 2. It should be out by the end of this year, the last I knew. And I have one piece, I believe, that should be in that coloring book. Although I've seen art by other artists that are supposed to be in it, and I didn't bother trying to draw another piece. Not only because I've been busy with other things, but the other artwork I've seen is just light years ahead of what I've been able to try to do. Now I'm going to try to ink this piece here, and I've mentioned this the AC Comics before, and this is a character called Sin, and she's a member of the FemForce team. She has, how can I describe her abilities and powers? Think of the Green Lantern, but with a very messed up mind. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. She's has a very unique costume. I did pencil this some time ago, and I just printed this off, and I thought I would ink this for this video. I may not finish this completely, so I want to get just to the 2-hour mark. So we will see what happens. But again, I do want to thank anyone and everyone for being here today to watch this. If you're catching this on Thanksgiving, you know, the holiday here in the USA. Thank you very much. But if you catch us outside the USA, again, thank you very much for sparing time to be here. And please hit the like button, whether it's on Pops Van Zant's YouTube channel. If you're on my channel, hit the like button as well. If you don't mind, I would appreciate it. And of course, if you're not subscribed to Pops, please do so. He hosts a number of shows and creators, whether they have campaigns or not, you know, even board games, other merchandise that people are working on in the independent market. You know, a lot of people can use the support in one way or another. If you're not interested, you know, maybe you know someone who may be. And my understanding, actually, board games are still hugely popular, which to me is a good sign. Card games too, or they make a mix of cards with the board game and everything. I find that pretty cool. I think that's neat. I really do. And of course, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel of Eric and Boyd Art, please consider doing so. I would really appreciate it. And my intention, of course, is to bring as much attention as I can to my projects and my art. I can't do this without you, without the interest, without the support. And yes, there are a lot of people, a lot of creators, artists, and writers who are far more advanced than I could ever hope to be. And they offer better quality comics and art. I'm well aware of that. But I am working on trying to improve, not only for myself, but for my pending projects. And again, I am actively seeking a couple of artists to help towards that goal. So if you don't, you know, if my artwork is not to your liking, I understand that, you know, but I would like to bring on board one or two people to help improve everything. So, well, my intention is that I would like my stories to be told and that people, potential readers, will like them. That is the main thing. That really is. I mean, of course, you can't have a comic without decent art. I mean, you can maybe, you know, if you have like spot illustrations or whatever, but most people like the sequential full art pages, which, hey, you know, I get that. I get that 100%. And again, I seem to be having a bad run of luck with these pens of late. Oh my God. So I just filled that one too. I just filled it. It could be the paper. It doesn't want to work on that paper. So let me see if this Copic multi-liner will work if the nib isn't too worn down. And again, I'm making noise, but you know, please bear with me on that end. So let's see here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, the nib isn't worn down. So there we are. Yeah, with that technical pen you just saw me bring out, sometimes the ink will dry, but sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right paper. It's I hate to say it's touchy, but because of the delicate tip, the point, nib, however you want to call it, I have to make sure I use the smooth paper. And this paper isn't exactly all that smooth. It's listed as being smooth cardstock. It's not really intended to be used for drawing. but because it's less expensive, and if I have the inks that are a bit heavier, it will suffice for daily drawings or practices and that sort of thing. And I'm going to give a shout out to AC Comics. Um, do check them out. They have a website if you want to get some, if you like good girl art and some fun comics, check out FemForce. It's one of the longest running independent comics in the USA. They've been publishing consistently since 1984. So that's not too dang bad, if you ask me. And the characters on the team, they have Night Vale, Miss Victory, She Cat, Sin, and Tara or Tara, depending on how you want to pronounce her. And there's also Stardust. And I'm going to touch back on my She Agents team. And I mentioned this before. The impetus for me to create the She Agents, I just one day decided, you know what? I want to see what I can come up with as far as a team that could go toe to toe with the FemForce team. And that's what prompted me to create the She Agents. Not ripping them off or anything, just, I thought it'd be fun to try to come up with something, and that's what I did. And again, Sin here, she has unique abilities. Um, I don't know if there's any good way to say this, but I'm going to leave it up to you to check her out, okay? But very trippy character. Um, she has kind of a connection to LSD of all things in Minecraft. But anyway, uh, very trippy powers. And that's what I tried to convey here with these shapes and symbols. And again, I just have to encourage you to check out her bio if you want to get better information than what I can relay. She has definitely one of the more recognizable, quote unquote, sexy costumes as well. And I believe, I could be wrong, I think the actress Sybil Danning was going to portray Sin either in a movie or she did some promotional photos dressed as Sin. And I should know this, and I'm forgetting. Um, I know anyone who may be watching, who may be familiar with AC Comics, FemForce in general. If you want to leave a comment, whether it's on my channel or on Pop's, please feel free to do so. I will research that, but for anyone who may check this out during the stream or, when this plays or later on replay, I'm sure, that information would be welcome to be provided. And actually, AC Comics has a couple of movies out on DVD and also that you can stream. One of the first ones was Night Vale, The Witch War, starring Night Vale and Alizarin Crimson, one of my personal favorite villainesses, supervillains, however you want to call her. That's available on DVD, and I believe it's on Night Vale Media. You can either buy a DVD or stream it online if you choose to do so. And there are several other ones with Stormy Tempest, who's kind of a quote unquote side character with FemForce. And then there's Garganta, another ally of sorts of the FemForce team. There are several DVDs, and of course, you can also stream it online if you want to check those out. And then there's Nyoka. They did a take on Nyoka the Jungle Girl, and I'm very fond of that one. Really well done, really tastefully done. Of course, these are not major blockbuster movies or DVDs. They're all done with love and with a lot of care. So do check them out. And you may be able to find some not only FemForce comics but collectible items like art portfolios, and they even had a RPG with manuals, which actually is difficult to find. And if it does come up as being for sale, it runs at a premium. So, but you know, but if you start to get into it, and again, I used to be a serious collector, but I had to stop for a while. I had to make the decision of just buying a few comics here and there, and investing in my projects and art supplies. So I had to let go of being a hardcore collector. And trust me, I regret doing it. But and the back issues, they're not only hard to come by, but they do fetch a premium price. And part of that being, it's a lot of great artwork and fun stories. And whereas the other publishers have agendas involved, for the most part, FemForce doesn't. There may be some, they might touch upon a few things here and there. They definitely don't hit you over the head with it. Oh, and there's also and was it the Curse of the Mummy or Curse of the Living Mummy, but which recently came out, and that's starring She-Cat, one of the team members of the FemForce, and the actress who's portraying her looks, did a great job wearing with the costume. Looks like She-Cat. To see her, come to life, so to speak, on the screen, it's a lot of fun. I haven't watched it, but you can find these trailers on YouTube. FemForce, uh, Stormy Tempest, Night Vale, She-Cat, Bill Black, Retro Coat, Night Vale Media. Uh, no, you'll find them. You'll find them on YouTube. You can catch the trailers. And again, nightvalemedia.com. You can find the DVDs and of course some back issues. And there's also accomics.com if you want to get some that you might not be able to find elsewhere. But again, some of them are no longer available or they're very difficult to come by. But if you don't mind hunting and looking for these, well worth the effort. And they have plenty of great characters. They also have the Sentinels of Justice. Captain Paragon is the leader. Scarlet Scorpion. So there are also male characters, superheroes. Black Commando. Was it Captain D, I think, was the other one? either Captain D or Captain 3D. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank, but check them out if you can. And I hope y'all don't mind me mentioning these companies, the publishers. One, there are companies that I'm fond of and I have purchased from, not just because I was, I've had my story artwork published in the companies. AC Comics, I never, did anything for, but I'm giving them a free plug because I did have several comics. In fact, I also had some portfolios and original art. And again, like a knucklehead, I didn't keep them. I sold it off, and I shouldn't have. But anyway, my lamentations aside, if you like good girl art, check them out. Nothing offensive, although there is a bit of an R-rated line that you can see on Night Vale Media, but most everything's PG 13. And I'm just going to touch up a little bit here. I'm about to run close to the 2 hour mark. I want to go over. And again, I want to thank anyone and everyone who spared time to watch and to listen. If you left any comments in the chat, thank you very much. And if you're not able to catch it this holiday, if you catch this video on a replay, I want to thank you for doing that. And again, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, whether it's on Pops' channel, whether it's on my channel, however you do it, I would appreciate it. And again, if you want to subscribe to Pops, do so. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. It's Eric and Boyd Art, and it's here on YouTube. And again, this isn't completely finished, but this is my initial sketch of Sin from FemForce, which I started to ink. And I want to thank everyone for checking out my She Agents characters to watch and to listen, and to check out the Golden Era Comics Presents Issue 5 featuring Mr. Muck and the Indelible Comics coloring book. And just to touch on Indelible Comics coloring book, issue number 5 should be underway to be published prior to the end of this year. And again, when I know myself, I will post that on social media someplace. And if you don't want to wait, you can go to Amazon if you have Amazon Prime. I believe it's $5.99 free shipping. The price may be different now. I'm not sure, but do check it out. I do have 3 sketches that appear in this coloring book. And again, Golden Era Comics presents issue number 5 with my Mr. Muck character and the origin story, which is in the comic itself. And when that's available, when that goes live, I will post that on social media, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. I will probably make one issue available on eBay along with the original art. I would appreciate you checking it out. And I do go by the name Eric and Boyd Art on eBay. If you want to see any of my drawings or my comics, some of my collectibles as well, I would appreciate that very much. So thank you very much for checking this out, for watching. And if you're in the USA, I hope you've had a great Thanksgiving. If you're outside the USA, I hope you've had a great day and evening. God bless. And thank you very much for being here to watch and to listen.